Skills in Claude Code. That's what we're making today. I just want to explain what a skill is, and it is a text file that tells Claude how you work, your preferences, your way of doing things, whether that's coding, writing, research, whatever you use Claude for. It's not complicated. It's definitely not code. You're just writing instructions in a file. It takes roughly about 2 minutes to make one, and I'll show you. This is a simple skill, or maybe you want to call it an automation. That is up to you, but in essence, that's what it is. So, what is a skill? Think of it this way. Claude already knows how to do things. It knows how to write, analyze, answer questions. It's like having an assistant who's read every book ever written, and that assistant doesn't know how you like things done. They don't know preferences. So a skill is like a sticky note that you leave on that assistant. It says, when I ask you to do this type of task, here's how I want you to do it. That's all it is. Instructions you write down in a file. And let me show you how that kind of is done. So let's take a look at where skills live, the folder structure. So this is just a folder inside my desktop. And then inside there is another folder called .claude, created by /init. If this was a bigger folder that maybe you had all your papers or your projects or other items in there, it could create a claude.md file which understands what initially is in your particular folder. It will not work on a basically empty folder. It's not effective, so I would leave that out. But it is there if you have kind of already like a project in mind. You can understand like the images that are in there and what you're aiming to do. Anyway, then after the .claude folder, you're going to create a skills folder. And then after that, you're going to name your skill. So for me, I use learn, and learn will contain a skill.md file. So let's take a look at the anatomy of that skill. It's simply a label. You're going to label that so that Claude understands what you're calling. It will load this into its kind of like active memory. It's going to know how to find it. So it's going to say the label is name, learn, description, what the skill does, and then instructions. This is what Claude will do based on loading this skill or automation. So I also wanted to kind of touch on how important skills are. Skills are just text files with instructions, but they can be very powerful if you combine them with a little bit more detail. They kind of upgrade themselves to agents, and agents are just skills with more detail and its simplest form. And then if you combine agents and skills with more details and instructions, and if they work together, then they become workflows. Um, so that's kind of the hierarchy here. This is really the foundation, is these skills. So we're gonna go and click here. We're gonna click a new file and name it skill.md. Sorry, and then no, I don't like how it's written. So skill.md. And the reason I'm creating this learn skill is I keep creating the same files and folders over and over again for my different projects, and I was getting tired of that. So I thought, you know what, let me just create a skill for that, which could be usually, it was previously called a slash command, but now everything is going to be encapsulated in skills. Um, so you're going to have these three dashes. The name is right there, and then the description is helps me start new learning projects by asking what I want to build. And then I have a new learning project. When I start a new learning project, ask me these questions. What do you want to call the project? What kind of project is it? Do you want this on GitHub? Describe it in one sentence. And then create a folder projects learning with the project name. Inside that folder, create a README, a starter file based on the project type, and if you want GitHub. So I don't need to do GitHub for this one, but let me kind of do that. So how it works from command to result. So you type in /learn or whatever you named your skill. Claude asks you questions, and then files get created. And this new feature is hot reload is really cool. You can, if you have Claude already up, you can just start using that skill right away. So I'm gonna go Claude. Perfect. And I'm gonna go slash. There we go. Learn. Helps me start a new learning project by asking me what I want to build. Okay, cool. All right, what do you want to call this? Let's do a game. Pong. Let's call Pong. So say 1, Pong, 2, a game with, let's do a game using HTML, 3, no, 4. I want there to be a CPU player with me playing Pong. I want the border of the Pong game to react when it hits the ball. I want to have a scoring system at the bottom, and I want to choose the difficulty level for the CPU. So, oh, I forgot to see this. So it doesn't have the projects or the learning folder, but it's going to create one for you. And then here's the learning folder, and now we have Pong. So this is overall how you can kind of create a skill. Super simple. This is the most basic skill type you can create, and it's just a skill.md file. You can create more complex skills by adding reference files and or scripts or MCP servers. There's just a ton of stuff you can do with this, and this is just kind of the beginning. And I just realized you will not be able to see that new screen. So how about try this out, see if you can kind of get this to work, and open in browser to see if you guys can see it or not. And then try it out for yourselves.